All right, the first in-season chat is in the books. Kirk and Ced on Statesman.com earlier this morning around 11. Took an hour of y'all's questions on everything UT related, and a little Johnny Manziel thrown in there for some flavor.
A little Johnny football.
And guys, I think one of the most pertinent questions of the day came to you right off the bat from Texas 1990, asking what, really, if anything, can you take from Texas's 56-7 win over New Mexico State on Saturday?
Several things. One, you get an easy win, okay? Wins are what it's about. Two, you get to play a lot of people, a lot of backups, get playing time that they wouldn't otherwise have. Three, it's not like the NFL where you have 4 or 5 preseason games. Right. This is it for them. They got to, come out of the gates roaring. And so, and every team plays cupcakes. We all know that. Nobody plays 4 Alabamas in non-conference.
Right.
And 4, it gives the fans a chance to get the warm fuzzies after they leave that stadium after a 56-7 win. Yeah, New Mexico State is horrible. But guess what? This isn't about testing yourself early. This is about evaluation, finding out who you can trust, and getting a nice win in the books, because the real games are about to start.
And as it is, anywhere you look at sports, you guys couldn't get through an hour of a chat without dealing with some Johnny Manziel questions. Obviously getting even more attention after the dust up there against Rice on opening weekend. Just what are y'all general thoughts on Johnny football?
Well, we can't escape him. He's a lightning rod for attention. A lot of it he does bring on himself. I'd just like to make 2 comments on that. Is that 2, will people just please get off ESPN? They're trying to sensationalize this story. There was a flood of Johnny Manziel signed items, footballs, whatever, online for sale, and so that started that whole issue, and ESPN was investigating it. If A&M is so mad at ESPN, why don't they tell ESPN we don't want to take our share of the money when they sponsor the SEC network? And we know that's not going to happen. The other thing is that we've written a lot of nice things about Johnny Manziel all of last year, so we're not anti-Johnny Manziel, but we're going to be objective about Johnny Manziel, and that's the thing. Fans want their writers to be objective about every school except their own.
Right.
But we're going to be objective about Johnny Manziel. He's still a great football player.
Here's my thing on Johnny. I voted for Johnny Manziel for the Heisman Trophy because he's the best football player in the country last year. I think he's still the best football player in the country. But Johnny Manziel, some of the wounds that the Aggies are saying that ESPN are inflicted are self-inflicted wounds by Johnny. Johnny Manziel loves attention. He trash talks with a 30-point lead. He gets an unsportsmanlike penalty, and then he big times his coach as he's admonishing him while he's walking off the field. So Johnny Manziel has some growing up to do. I still think he's a tremendous football player. I think he's a tremendous personality, but let's not portray him as a victim, because he's a complicit in a lot of these things that are going on with ESPN, with Texas A&M, and with the national football audience.
I think with that finally off our chest, we can move back to UT stuff and what's going on there. One of the big storylines going into BYU and maybe the rest of the regular season is touches in the backfield. Texas has loads of running backs to choose from. Dajay Johnson got in the mix in that as well on the opening weekend, and looks like he could be in potential to have carries, a lot of carries in every game. How do you think it's going to shape up as we go forward?
Well, they got to get the ball to Dajay Johnson. As Cedric and I talked about, he may be the best football player on this team
already.
And I don't think there are going to be too many games where Jalen Overstreet's going to get more touches than Jonathan Gray. So I think it's a nice problem for Major Applewhite. So I'm not sure how he's going to balance the carries out, but they're all going to see the ball a lot. The running back's going to be in the passing game quite a bit.
Winning football games is the key, and that's the goal. And if you want to win football games, you got to get Dajay Johnson 10 touches a game minimum. Jonathan Gray's going to get his. I think Malcolm Brown's going to get his. Joe Bergeron may be the odd man out, and if that's the case, then maybe he's just going to have to be the short yardage back. But when you have a loaded backfield like Texas has, you got to get the playmakers the ball, especially at winning time.
Another great chat on Statesman.com this morning. These guys fielded a lot of great questions for an hour. They'll be back next week, again, Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Make sure you check it out. They'll be ready to talk Johnny Manziel, UT's game against BYU, whatever. We'll see you next week.